Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Death Doula. I am your Sherpa into the world of death, Hope, and this is a very great treat for me because I've been lazy about recording and my one of my great friends over here definitely kicked my ass into getting back into this. And I'd love to introduce you guys to Patrick of the Vintage Video Podcast. So he's gonna be kind of jumping into some episodes. Like I said, he kind of got my shit together. So to get back into this, and I'm very happy for him to be in my life as well as joining us today. So say hello, say whatever you'd like.
Hi, everybody. It's good to be here. I'm glad that we're getting more content from Hope. So this is fun, and it's always nice to talk about movies that we both enjoy.
Yeah, so I kind of figured, yes, I am a film buff. I am a film fanatic and all, and like that's what I do here on this channel is break down death taboos through TV and movie, but I'm a death doula. This guy over here actually like walks the walk and talks the talk. He's in the film industry. He actually does it, so like he can better I don't know, compliment this for me instead of me just being like,
Sure.
I like movies. You can actually be like, hey, I know things. So,
I mean, I probably know as much as like the general movie-going public does in terms of like people who pay attention to stuff, but I do happen to work at Universal as a assistant editor in the trailer department. So get to
oh, just
see
no
some
big
of the release
brag. No
before it
big
comes
brag.
out.
So today I am very excited for multiple. I am in uniform, as you would say.
Very nice.
We're talking about, or I mean, I'm always in uniform with tattoos, but we
I was
are
just gonna say
talking.
that's no Blue Moon. That's my sort of Star Wars reference.
Are you gonna do like the blue milk or something?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I should have
Yeah,
put some extra letters on here.
there you go. We were talking. If you could have guessed it, it's sort of Star Wars, but it's actually we're gonna be talking about the film Fanboys today, which honestly I feel like it's like an underrated, not as well
Yeah,
known cult classic that a lot more people should know about, in my opinion. Um,
yeah.
and
I remember seeing it when it came out, but then coming back to it, I had no idea that it was so like crammed full of cameos from people. Like, there's so many
yes,
people in this movie that I was not expecting to show up.
I mean obviously the big jump outs are always going to be the Rogan versus Rogan like face off
Right.
battle that always
Yeah.
stick in your head, but then you forget about like the like you said like the hundreds of other cameos in it, like
Yeah.
literally hundreds of other cameos.
And
But
like literally getting people that are sometimes hard to convince to do a Star Trek movie, and you get Captain Kirk to show up in this. That's
right,
amazing that he agreed to do this.
Priceline wasn't paying as much, so he had to jump in,
Exactly. Yeah.
or was it Expedia, whatever it is. But yeah,
Well, I
oh
think he was the Priceline negotiator, right?
yeah,
It's
that's
like
right.
Priceline negotiator.
Negotiator. So now you're probably thinking, okay, so it's a Star Wars, but it's also fanboys. The hell does it have to do about death? um,
Yeah.
so that's where I come in. And so if you're not fully knowing of what fanboys is a group of friends who are Star Wars fanatics, and they get together. To storm Skywalker Ranch to get a print of Episode One, Phantom Menace, before it comes out. Mind you, this is set back in like 98, 99 before it comes out. Just a little background. And the whole reason for doing this was, yeah, they had like dreams of doing this as kids, but the main reason is one of the group is has terminal cancer and he's given maybe a year left to live. So it's the journey of culminating together to do this for your friend Linus to before he dies, like kind of like a bucket list wish type of deal.
Yeah.
And it's a big journey in multiple stages of the death and reclaiming it. And there's so many different things. I took some notes about different parts and different things about it being so death centric and all. Before we get into that, though, I do want to say this movie does have a very special place in my heart. Not only, I mean, obviously, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Not only is it like death centric, as I'm a death doula now, but back when this movie came out, I also did see it in theaters, like you did
Yeah.
when this movie came out. But it's another layer for me because when this movie came out, there's this guy I was dating, Jamie, and we went to go see it, and he's like the only other person on the planet who would see like an indie cult classic film with me back
Right.
then. And he was just like the kindest, sweetest dude on the planet. And, you know, he went into the film industry as he did. And like, I was so proud of him when he did it and everything. We like stopped dating, but that was because like he went off to Atlanta to where all the filming is. And I'm like, I'm
Right.
going to college. And he's like, cool, but like high five, like nothing crazy, nothing
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Just like went our separate ways again. Like we were college kids, you know, he was living his dream. And again, it was like so wonderful to have that connection with him. And then I had learned later on, you know, while in college, he had actually died. He was on the set of Walking Dead. He was working on the set of
Oh,
Walking Dead,
wow.
and he had died on the way home from set
Oh my
in a
gosh.
car accident.
Yeah.
So this movie, like I said, has a special place in my heart because of him and me getting to see this with him. Like I don't think I probably would have seen it without him.
Yeah.
Or and it was also he ignited kind of like the film buff in me always. And so I always have that love for him and respect for him and miss him every day. So like I kind of want to dedicate this to Jamie. He's love him to death and hope he's watching all the films up above or
Yeah.
wherever, whatever you believe in the next realm, life, however you see it. But yeah,
There better be
so
movies up there.
yeah, yeah. Otherwise, I'm making my own heaven
Yeah.
with blackjack and hookers to forget the blackjack.
Exactly.
Like,
With Blockbuster and hookers.
yes, exactly. But yeah, so just wanted to kind of like say that, like, want to dedicate this to Jamie and everything. Like, I remember watching this and I was like crying. I'm like, oh, I saw this because of him, and
Yeah.
yeah. So that's my little homage before we deep dive into
Yeah.
this film.
That's sweet.
So yeah, just first impressions for you. Like you said, it's been a while since you had seen this. So what were you thinking? Like diving back in.
Yeah, well, at first I was thinking how clear the descendant of the Clerks franchise this is, that it's clearly the kind of people that watch that movie. And I think there's a lot of jokes even in Clerks 2. I forget which one came out first, Fanboys or Clerks 2, where they do a lot of the Star Wars fans versus Star Trek fans stuff. Or no, that's Lord of the
Clerks
Rings.
2 came out first.
They did, okay. But that
Yes.
that one is Star Wars versus Lord of the Rings, is the two
Correct.
franchises that they're complaining about.
Correct.
Back and forth.
Also with the little Transformers thrown in, but yeah.
Yeah. But then
Yeah.
for them to bring Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes into this, like I loved that, because it was just like, oh great, like you can tell that those are probably filmmakers they really cared about and that they brought them into this project.
You know the guy in the bathroom with Jason Mewes in that scene was the I forget the name, but he was the donkey wrangler from Clerks 2.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, so
That's
it was
amazing.
it was all now that because you mentioned Clerks 2, I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, that was I miss my donkey. So that was him as well.
Well, I just
So
love that they got them to come into the thing, and I also feel like Seth Rogen is somebody who fits in that group of like he touches on a lot of this nostalgia with different projects that he's worked on, and so it was cool to see him. I also hadn't realized that Ernest Cline was involved in this, but obviously, like having seen Ready Player One, it feels like such an obvious thing to have come from him on the way to that big breakout part for him. But
yeah.
yeah, the nostalgia overcast of it is just so fun.
Oh yeah. And then, just also the Star Wars of it all. Also, R.I.P. Carrie Fisher made her
Right?
cameo
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
it as well. So again, another layer of
And
death
he gets the
onto
kiss
his,
from her at the end too. Like that's just crazy
and the
that
whole
they're
"I
able to
love you, I
coordinate that.
know"
Yeah.
exchange. Yes. Oh, so good. I said just kept the Billy D was in it as well. Like the list of cameos
Yeah.
goes on and on. Um, I also love that the as Billy D was the judge in it, and they called him Judge Reinhold. I'm like, ha, it's funny.
Yeah. Which they also did in the Clerks animated series, but it was Judge Reinhold doing the voice of the judge in that episode.
Right.
Yeah.
I said just so many like homages, all within this whole Star Wars love story of this movie, which is great. Um, so cameos aside, when it comes to the actual story in and of itself, I think it is really cool. A couple of things is for me, the couple of things I picked up on immediately was you have Eric, who's kind of like the black sheep of the friend group now, who like grew up and got a job
Right.
and
Yeah. He's
um
following in the family business.
yeah. So you actually, before we even know about Linus, really what's happening with him, we kind of get hints of death already with Eric, because the mom's not in the picture, because the dad comes in,
Right.
he's like, take the damn hat, take the damn hat, and he's like, your
Yeah.
mother would be so proud seeing you in that
Yeah.
hat. So you're already kind of getting like, they're like, okay, starting out with the dead mom, cool, so we're just gonna throw that in. And then
And
it's
there's also that this is like if he's ready to hand off the entire company to his son, then this is either a retirement or he expects to be out of the picture for some other reason. Like they don't
right.
really
So,
necessarily hint at where he's going.
and that's another thing too. So it's like, is he also dying? Is he just, maybe he is just retiring, or maybe
Yeah.
all those fake tans finally got to his health. I don't know. Um, he is like 10 shades darker than Tatooine. I don't know.
He's from a
Uh,
Tatooine with 5 sons.
right, exactly. So we already kind of are hit in the face with that. So then later when Hutch and, oh my god, what is
Windows.
Windows? Oh, thank you. I was like, what is
Yeah.
Jay? I was like, what is Jay Baruchel's? I know the actor's name, but I can't remember this. Windows and Hutch show up, is saying like, hey, Linus is dying, and
Yeah.
then you're like, oh shit, so it gets real now. Okay, cool. Um, I think one thing though in the beginning, that one of the quotes that resonated with me though, which a lot of people, I know a lot of people, when death is imminent, there is, whether it's you're dying or a person is dying, they make it very centralized around them and not the actual person who's dying. It's
Right.
like,
Right.
oh, well, they're dying, so I'm affected, or like,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
look at me because my friend's dying or my mom's dying. It's like, no, no, no.
This isn't
Well,
happening to
yes,
you.
like, right, like I can appreciate you grieving, I can appreciate you're struggling, but, and like I said, the quote that got me in the beginning of the film was, how am I supposed to make my peace when the guy doesn't even want me to know, right? With all due respect, Eric, it's not about you. I was like,
Yeah.
mic drop, done.
Yeah. Exactly.
Thank you. And it's true, because there's a lot of people who feel similar sentiments about situations like that. And again, with all due respect, this is not about you. You are still alive, you are still breathing, you are still living your life. This person is actively dying. This is their journey, their grief. So yes, it is about them. They can
Yeah.
be selfish right now, you
Yeah.
know.
And it's up to you to either try and resolve things while they're still here, or to hold on to this grudge until it's too late to fix it.
Exactly. And in the end, it's on every deathbed I've known, it's not like, oh, I wish I, you know, had that job or whatever. They wanted the
Right.
people they loved around them. So
Yeah.
it's, even if you're still mad, you better get your ass over to them if they want you in their life. Obviously, he's reaching out. Obviously, they want to do all this. So suck it up, Buttercup, and be there for your friend Linus.
Yeah.
Like you've been
Gotta
friends
be the
since you
bigger
were
man here.
3.
Yeah.
So just go and do it, man. So like I said, that I appreciated that quote so much, just especially early on in the movie too. Like I know that kind of like needed to do that to get everyone together and go, but like
Yeah.
that was a good wake up. Like, hey, this, and I think a lot more people need to realize that too. So I was like, bravo guys, bravo script writers, good job.
Yeah. It's not fair to take ownership of the suffering of the people around you as if you're having just as hard a time as they are. It's like
Right.
this isn't about you. This isn't happening to you. This is happening to someone else, and it's up to you to try and make this as peaceful as possible for them.
Exactly. It's because once it all ends, you're still living your life, Once
Exactly. Yeah.
it ends, their end.
Yeah.
So I did love that. There's a lot more amazing quotes throughout as well, but I'll sprinkle them in as we kind of, I guess, go through the film more.
Sure. Sure.
And so obviously we get that, and then they go on their journey to storm the Skywalker Ranch. I know there's a lot of very life fulfilling things that they do along the way, which again, it kind of plays to like the whole bucket list thing,
Yeah.
because initially Eric was like, okay, we're just gonna go there and back, like done deal, and it's like, no, bro, enjoy your trip, man.
Yeah.
First off, I'm sorry, but you can't take more than like a day off from work when you're about to get the company. Like,
Yeah.
I
If
feel
you
like,
own this whole thing, like this isn't going to be the deal breaker right here.
right. So that kind of threw me off a little bit, which was like, okay, I know the plot needs to move on, whatever, but I was like, whatever, man, get over it. Have a couple days off with your friend. Like, come on. Especially like if you told your dad your best friend of what, like 18 years is dying. Like, I think if you had reframed it in that sense,
Yeah.
he would have been a bit more like, oh, have fun. Here's pocket money. Like,
Yeah, exactly. It would
go.
have been like, yeah, take a week or two off, and then we'll start the position.
Exactly. Because I don't think that would have made or broke the whole.
If they have like 10 lots or 20 lots, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that whole part was kind of dumb. Like, how, tell your dad your friend is dying. Like, it was so stupid on that aspect of it. But again, I know like the whole story needs to happen, conflict needs to happen,
Right,
blah,
right,
blah,
right.
blah. So, plot moving device, as we say.
Yeah.
But I love, again, some of the life affirming things I loved was obviously, which is honestly kind of on my bucket list, going to Iowa to James T. Kirk's
Right,
birthplace.
Yeah. His birthplace, where they have like a statue of him in the park.
Yeah. So like, yes, I'm a Star Wars fan, but I do love me some Trek, not gonna lie. So like the fact that they went to the birthplace of James T. Kirk, I was like, okay, that's really cool. Even though they went to pick a fight, but
Yeah.
I also would love to do that because that was really cool. And that's when we see our first version, one of 3 of Seth Rogen in the film.
Are there 3 of him?
Yeah.
I remember 2. I'm trying to remember the third one now.
So the third one is actually also at the Trek convention.
Oh, okay.
And when they're like, we're here to see the nerf herder. And the guy's like, badges. That's Rogan again.
Oh, okay.
That's the third Rogan.
Yeah.
So we have the Star Trek Rogan. We have the also Star Trek but badges Rogan, and then we have the
Star
pimp
Wars
the Star Wars pimp version.
Yeah.
which also was hysterical how he like showed the tattoos of like Jar Jar Binks, and I'm like, oof, oof, you won't
Like
regret
his
that,
whole
bud.
back was the Jar Jar tattoo. That was great.
He's gonna be the shit, you know. It's like, oh god,
I hope there's someone who did that before the movie came out. That would just be amazing.
right? That would be. Also, I do feel for Ahmad Best though, the guy who played Jar Jar. I'm like, to think you finally got in the Star Wars films just to be like universally hated. I feel so bad for him.
I do think he's gotten a little bit of retribution, though. I feel like
with
people
with the
realize
man
he
with
got,
with
yeah,
the
he was on
Mandalorian
Mandalorian.
series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also,
He
even before that, I feel like people realized they did him dirty and that it was kind of like, he didn't write this character, he didn't create this character, and whatever you feel about him, like, that guy did what he was supposed to do. And
exactly.
if you have problems with it, then take it up with George Lucas, and he has a thicker skin
Right.
about it anyway. But I think Ahmad Best at this point is probably in a better place about having been Jar Jar. I
Oh,
don't think
I'm
he
sure.
regrets it as much as he definitely did at one point.
I'm sure. And if anything happens, if I'm around his presence and see anybody, I'll murder the bitches around him
Yeah,
because he deserves so
I
much
think
better.
yeah, he gets a lot of warm hugs, I'm sure, from people that are just like, "Hey, man, you did great. You're my favorite character." So
Mm, yeah. Let's say side tangent. Love you, Ahmad Best. Thank you. Um, but yeah, another uh I guess life fulfilling thing too was when they break down in their car and they meet up with the chief, aka Danny
right,
Trejo,
yeah,
and they have their, which I think is interesting because it seems like it was just weed that they got, or was it like, because I don't think it was ayahuasca.
I thought it was like mushrooms or acid or something like that because they
I
seem way too messed up for it to just be weed.
that's what I'm saying because I was like maybe it's ayahuasca or something. I don't know, but
Yeah,
because I don't think it was mushrooms because you see him like eat this stuff. He's like when they're about to be
yeah,
pulled
it just looks
over.
like shake. It looks like weed. Yeah,
Yeah, like really bad shake as well. Like they just got stems and shit
yeah,
at that
exactly.
point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But uh so I thought that was also interesting. Like have none of these guys ever been high before? So
Unless it
that
was
was,
supposed to be like laced with something. But I thought the whole point of him being a chief was that he would have access to like some other kind of like desert,
and that's why I thought
you
it might have
know.
been like ayahuasca maybe,
Yeah, that would
but
make sense. Yeah.
I don't know. But
It reminds me of his the Beavis and Butthead Do America when they're doing all the ayahuasca out in the middle of the desert. And like they meet their older selves or something. Like they meet their
yeah,
dads.
but yeah, so that I thought that was a cool like life affirming thing too because a lot of people also towards end of life, a lot of them will take drugs and psychedelics and things, not only as like kind of like a fuck it, I'm dying, might as well, but also a lot of them will take it as kind of like a coping mechanism. A lot of times when you take like DMT or mushrooms or things like that towards the end of life, it kind of gives you a calming to
Sure, that makes
accept
sense.
death.
Yeah.
So a lot of people there's actually a whole subsection of I will need to do the better research, but there is like a church where
Right. Yes. Yeah.
they grow shrooms and everything, and it is to help those who are transitioning from life to death, and they will be like, hey, come for a service where we give you shrooms and make you
Yeah.
feel better about death. And I'm like, also awesome,
Yeah.
and and again they get around that by being a church. So
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
which I think
So it's
is
all
actually really
legal now.
right. Like if you're gonna, that is one time where I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, a church abuses their power, but in a good way. I like it.
Exactly.
It's all for death, all for death.
Yeah.
So what are some other things that you like want to point out before I get into some other stuff?
I don't remember the name of the person, but I remember seeing somebody online talk about how they got like a last minute call from someone working on this production and they were asked to create the road trip map, the actual map from the film. And the guy was like, I drove out to my friend's house. He kind of explained to me what some of the things would say on them. And I sat down and I drew this thing with like a pack of magic markers, and he like sat down and like made the thing in like 4 hours or something like that. I was like, this thing looks so cool for you to put it together that quickly.
Yeah, that's
But it also looks like something
adorable.
that kids made. Like I
Right.
really love the aesthetic of this map and how they planned out where they were going to go and what they were going to do. I also
Ooh.
I don't know if they shot at the actual like Lucasfilm campus, but I would
Mhm.
love it if they did because I just like the like the implication that there's like standing guards that are just walking around the building all night. There's like cameras and lasers and stuff like that that track everyone, and there's vault
Yeah.
rooms and stuff like that. Like I just love the implication of how locked down this whole facility must be.
I mean, I would love. I haven't been to the ranch. I would love to go. I know I have a lot of friends who have been, so they can
Yeah.
confirm for me it's not like that. But but it would be fun. I mean, I would if I were to ever go, I think I would low key show up with the grappling hook though. Just be like,
Right, yeah, of course, yeah. It's funny too because I feel like what everyone's expecting there at the end of the movie is the Lucas cameo. Like everyone wants for him to just show up and give the official like canon blessing to this whole project. And
yeah.
what we get is like Danny McBride on a phone with quote unquote George Lucas. But I would love
I
for
could hear his beard.
exactly. But I would have loved it if it was like after the movie came out, they were like, "Oh, by the way, when you see the guy that looks like Darth Vader standing in the hallway, that's actually George Lucas just wearing a Darth Vader
That would have
costume."
been cool.
It's just like he never takes the helmet off, you never see his face, but he was standing there on set. Like that's all. That's all I would need for that cameo to be sold.
See, that would have been really cool. I would have loved that.
Yeah,
But like,
but it was still.
Luke.
I enjoyed that whole sequence.
Oh yeah, and the fact that Ray he played Maul.
Oh, Ray Park.
Ray Park, thank you.
Yeah,
For some
isn't he
reason I
also
kept
in the
wanting.
Mortal Kombat games? Like one of the fighters in the Mortal Kombat games,
I think so.
like the
But
original.
for some reason I kept wanting to say Ray Purchase, and I'm like, no, that's a Toast of London character, not Ray Park. So thank you, Ray
Yeah.
Park. Yeah, he was like one of the head guards at the Lucas
Yes.
Ranch.
Yeah.
Like, and I know I geeked out too because when he did the huh, and like because he does his own stunts and everything.
Yeah.
So
He does the dual
even
lightsaber move.
as soon as like he's so recognizable at this point, he doesn't even need the Maul makeup. It's like everyone knows.
Right.
Oh, that's Maul.
Yep.
Done.
Yeah. What I was have you been keeping up with The Boys at all?
I want to, but due to certain life changes in my life, someone took my Prime account.
Oh, okay. Well, I
So
was just gonna
I've
say
not been
there
able to
was a
see the
recent
latest
episode.
season.
Yeah, Seth Rogen finally shows up as himself in like a cameo where he's like hanging out playing poker with a bunch of other celebrities. But
Okay.
Will Forte is there, and Craig Robinson is there, and I was like, all of them are in this movie together. Like, it's just funny that
Yes.
those three guys are still working together.
That's awesome though.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I still do have my Apple TV though, and I've been watching the studio. So
Oh yeah, that's great too. Yeah, I really liked that
Mhm.
one. I know it's coming back soon, so
yes. Um. So yeah, the Stormy Skywalker Ranch I love.
and we haven't really talked about Kristen Bell at all, but she's really fun in this. I feel like she says a lot of stuff that like
She
if
does.
Disney had
A lot of
known
it.
that she was going to say those words in a movie, that
She
she
would
might
not
not
have
be a
been
Disney
Anna.
princess. Yeah,
That I do love her character in it. She is great. She's kind of like the unknown glue of the group for sure.
right.
Um I a lot of her stuff though is more Windows centric, more so than
Yeah,
Linus. So I guess
I wish
that's
she had
probably
more to
why
do.
yeah, I guess that's why I haven't really brought her up so much, I guess. Because again, I'm more the let's focus on Linus dying and you're just like let's
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
fun, guys. Uh but yeah, because she was more like with Windows because the whole like unrequited love versus dumbass not knowing.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but
He
also
finally
I'm glad,
figures it out in Vegas.
yeah, that hooker gave me something, the truth. There's so many quotable lines to this film, like it's so good. Um, but speaking of which, there's the scene where before they get to Vegas, when she bails them out of jail and she shows up
Right.
and she's kind of like, "Hey guys, talk to Linus, dumbasses." Like he's just chilling there.
Yeah.
Um, one of the big things is everyone needs a Death Star, that one badass moment to let you live on forever.
Right.
And I think that was cool that they were telling Linus that, like just you don't have to have a giant life, in order to make an impact. Like even just them doing this stupid road trip,
Yeah.
I think would make an impact on all their lives and make them remember it forever.
Yeah.
And I liked that because again, not everyone needs to do something big and grand or be rich or be so impactful, but as long as you make like a core memory with at least one other person, I think that helps people like also at ease, like live on, so to say.
Yeah, yeah, because you
You know,
feel like they had a story at least. They got to complete an arc of something that
right.
happened.
And
Yeah.
that's a big thing too is for people dying, they're like, "Oh, I don't want to be forgotten. I don't want to be,
Right.
left behind." Um, kind of I know like in Mexican traditions how they have the afuera for like Day
Right,
of the
right.
Dead, and like, that's a way to remember their people. And now that Star Wars is entangled with Disney and all that, we could talk about Coco. How they said like,
Right,
oh,
right.
if you're not on anyone's afuera, that's when you do fade, even from the afterlife. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
actually really sad. So I get it. Just remembering of in some sort of way is
Yeah,
always
it's like the
nice.
thing they call the three deaths, where it's like your first death is when you die, your second death is when your name is said for the last time, and your third death is when the last person who ever knew you dies, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of the same thing, that your
Hmm.
soul ends up dissipating when the last person who knew you is gone.
I mean, I guess that happens eventually. Like, unless you're like Shakespeare or some shit, then everyone's saying your name. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I mean that will happen eventually. I know, even for me personally. Unlike you, I am not having children, so so there will not be a next of kin to remember me by. But whatever, it is what it is.
That's
Um,
what the podcast is for.
I was gonna say all my children have four legs and fur, so I don't
Exactly.
think they'll be telling stories around the campfire for me.
You never
Uh,
know. You never know what the future holds. They could all have, exosuits and be speaking fluent English in a decade.
like Snowball from Rick and Morty, just
Exactly.
where am I, ball summer? Uh,
That's a good one. Uh, have you ever seen? I just saw this movie. It's called A Useful Ghost. It's a Thai
no,
film.
no, I haven't. Oh,
Um,
I know what you're talking about. I have not seen it though. It took
okay,
me a
it's
second.
fascinating. It's
It's
really really interesting.
it's on my letterboxed. I need to see it.
Okay, yeah, I highly recommend it. In terms of like the mood of the film, it kind of reminds me of the David Lowery film, A Ghost Story, if you've seen that.
Okay.
But
Yes.
it's set in Thailand, and it's this guy who works in a factory, and his wife has passed away, and she comes back to him in the form of like a haunted vacuum cleaner, and
Yes,
it's
I
just
remember the
really fascinating.
trailers.
Yeah.
I saw the
So
trailers and I was like, that looks so cute. So
well,
I
it's
wanted.
crazy because the first half of it is like a dark comedy about like reincarnation and possession, but then the second half of it goes completely insane. But it's still really enjoyable. But I highly recommend it.
Okay, yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I'll have to put it on the list for sure. Maybe you'll come back for that one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That would be great to talk about.
Yeah, awesome. So I was about to say we're kind of trudging through the movie here. And then we get to, well, a big thing also to really hit home is we talked about Vegas, how they meet up with they have the big fight against Wars versus Trek because they go to a Trek
Yeah.
convention. How they meet up with William Shatner, I just laughed
After
for a second.
hours, and yeah,
I laughed for a second because I just like remembered him pulling out the book of like trekking with TJ,
yeah,
and they were like, "Thank you,"
yeah. This is exactly what we wanted.
Yes, we wanted this on our trip to the ranch. Cool. Uh, but they also in that scene kind of doubled down on Linus's illness too, because he like falls out of the car and they go to the hospital, and Carrie Fisher's cameo, she's like, the fuck are you guys doing? He's dying. And they're like,
Yeah,
but that's why we're doing it, because he's dying. And I think and I think that's a big thing too with healthcare professionals in that situation, because on one hand they're like, no, sit his ass in a hospital
right,
bed,
yeah,
we need to treat him. But also it's like, well, if it's terminal, fuck it, it's
right. And it's funny that I feel like sometimes medical professionals are a little bit hypocritical about that, because they will often take offense to a situation where that's like a person is refusing medical treatment, but also doctors and nurses have like the highest incidents of refusing to go to a hospital when that part of their life comes. And it's like I get that your job is fixing people, but even in your own position you wouldn't come back here at that point. Like you would go on an adventure.
healthcare professionals are the worst patients for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
It's either they already know better, so they're like, I'll treat myself, or
Or they just
you
want,
know
they want a big fish moment. They want their son to break them out of the hospital and drop them in a river. That's what they want.
right. So it is funny that you mentioned that, because it is true, and um like you said, it is a bit hypocritical, because again, they are there to fix people. That's the whole thing. But we can't fix dying. We
Right, right,
haven't
right.
gotten there yet.
And nobody wants
So
to
I
spend their last like 10 years in a repair shop. Like you want to just be at home with your family, or doing
right,
something that you care about.
and that's why the MAID Act, the Medical Aid in Dying Act, is growing in such popularity throughout the states and everything, because of that. If and a lot of people, there is controversy with that as well. Like they're like, oh well, so anybody could just die, and I'm like, I don't think you realize you have to jump through hoops, and half
Right,
the
right.
time, by the time you get all the factors in place, you're about to drop dead in 2 minutes anyways. Um, so it's really hard to get it approved, even if you meet all the criteria, because you do have to
Yeah.
jump through so many hoops. So I do want to get that out of the way, where people have a misconception about that. It's not just like I'm gonna off myself. Like, no, there is structure. There's like
Yeah.
20 checks and balances before we even get to
This
that
isn't
point.
Futurama. You don't just climb into a phone booth and press a few
The
buttons.
suicide booth, yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I don't care about monetization. We can say all the words we want. I don't give a shit.
I like when he's like, there's two buttons, and was like, quick and painless or slow and painful, and he accidentally pushes the wrong button.
He's like, oh, good one. But yeah, that's it. I just, quick tangent. I hate that I have to also say I don't care about monetization, because like,
Right.
most people, they're like, oh, I have to say unalive. I have to say,
Yeah, or they have to
you know,
censor the word.
yeah, it's like this. I deep down, I feel like this is an educational podcast, because I do want
Yeah.
to educate about death and dying. And it's like, if I'm bringing it in an educational aspect, why do I have to censor my verbiage and my lexicon and all that? Like
Yeah, like
it's
unaliving means anything different. It's like it's still the
right.
same word.
So I'm just actually using the literal medical definition words,
Yeah.
kind of like how it's kind of the same, like growing up when um like adults will teach their kids like, oh, don't say penis, but you can say like your swing schwang, or like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's we all know what you're talking about. I'd rather
Yeah.
use the medical definition instead of some made up word that I don't know. That's just my tangent, my side quest, my side tangent, whatever. Um, so I do like how Carrie Fisher though said, you know what, screw it here. Take these meds. At least you won't die on the side of the road if you do. You
Right.
can at least make it to your next stop when you do this. And the iconic "I love you, I know" moment
Yeah.
happens,
Perfect.
which is great. Um, and then yeah, like I said, they go through that, and um, the whole storming a Skywalker Ranch. Like we touched on that already, but
Yeah.
it's such a great culmination to the end of the movie where they did it. Like that's the cool thing. Like a lot of people, they do have bucket lists. They might not all be able to get to it, but they did it. They actually stormed the ranch.
And to a point that it feels like at the end when they do get that call from Lucas that it's literally like he can appreciate that about what they've done. Like what you did is an accomplishment. You broke into this facility. You clearly care about this thing. You're not making up your story. So yeah, you kind of deserve to see the movie before anyone else does. So sure, let them into
Right.
the screening room and put it on for them.
The funny thing too though is there are a lot of like programs in place like through hospitals and like for terminally ill people
Right?
that
Yeah.
like well they will like contact people and be like, hey, dude's a big Star Wars fan, can he I know another friend of mine growing up, he had muscular dystrophy and he died when he was 13, but he was in the PICU for a lot of his life, because of that.
Yeah.
And because of that, he was like, I'm a big fan of this. Can I see that film? And there's
Right. Right.
programs where they like bring the films in. So I'm just thinking like Linus probably could have just made a call and like
Yeah.
seen it with,
But
but
that's not as fun.
it's not as fun. It's not. But I'm just thinking like worst case, they probably just could have made a call. Um, but that wasn't the epic star, Death Star journey that they
Yeah.
wanted.
I also feel like if George Lucas did have a full size trash compactor room at over at the Skywalker Ranch, that he would definitely want people to be trapped in it at one point. So it's like, why did I bother to make
Right.
this look exactly like the movie if no one was ever going to be in here?
That should be an attraction. Like I'd pay
Yeah,
$5
exactly,
for that ride. Shoot.
exactly. That's a
Uh,
photo op.
right. Um. So we get to the end, and how he's like, "All right, good on you guys, but only you can see the film."
Yeah,
And I thought that was really cool too. How he also just didn't say anything about the film either. Like they were like, "How is it?" And he's just like, "Chewy," you know. They're
yeah.
and I was like, "Okay, good on him, good on him." Um,
And then when they're sitting down to see it, at the end, they're all looking at each other like, "What if it's
what if
terrible,
it
guys?"
sucks? Yeah, what if it sucks? Which I thought was fucking hysterical.
It was just the
Um,
perfect way to play it because it's like they're not saying it sucked. They're just saying, wouldn't that be
what
awful if it turned
if?
out that it sucked and he hated it that whole time?
I do love that. There is one line though before all this happens. It's you got to keep the crappy you got to keep the flaws, crappy effects, real puppets. That's what makes it so good. This was never about the movie. This was all about us. And I was
Right.
like, there it is.
Yeah.
That's the culmination. And again, as I had stated before, like on your deathbed, you don't wish you made more money. You don't wish you did this. You wanted the people you loved in your life and
Yeah.
like flaws and all, and because that is humanity, that is life, and nothing is ever perfect.
Yeah.
And it's got to be messy. It's got, like he said, the crappy effects, the puppets.
Yeah.
It's shitty,
It has
but
to be real. It has to be
mm,
practical.
mhm. It might be shitty, but it's your shitty,
Yeah.
like it's
Exactly.
so it's just whoop, uh, it's just a good way, I think, I think what I really do like about this film is because it is talk about death and it's very imminent and they're very in your face about it, real. But they keep it very lighthearted as well, which I do like, because it
Yeah.
is a lot of times with films like this, it's like they're so dreary and they're so sad and it's this whole thing. And it's like death doesn't need to be the big bad evil guy at the end. Um, and that's how they approached it, where it's not, it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's just another phase. And if you do believe in Star Wars, all Star Wars is a religion, Jedi is a
Yeah.
religion. So
Yep.
if that's your thing, it's kind of like your force spirit transcends anyways. So it's just
Yeah, exactly.
death is just another stage of life, so to say. And I liked that they kept it lighthearted in that aspect because of it. Like they made death more accessible instead of like creepy and scary. So
Actually, makes me think now I'm kind of surprised that they didn't have a shot of the guys sitting in the theater waiting for the movie to come on and for there just to be like their glowing blue friend in the next seat over, like have his Force Ghost sitting there watching the movie with them.
that would have been cute. But I think that maybe would have been
They
a
didn't
little
want it
too
to
on the
be like straight
nose.
up sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that I think that is cute. Okay, we can picture in our version that that's what's happening.
Yeah, and there's just an extra little visual effect at the end.
Uh, so that's the film. That's our rants. Anything else that you want to drop some knowledge on for us about the film? Or
No, I really did enjoy it. I love that they basically had everybody who you could possibly hope to get in a movie like this show up. I think it would have been funny if they actually had, and I don't know how much of an actor he is, but if Harry Knowles had been able to play himself. But Ethan Suplee does a great job, and he's also part of the Askew-universe with Kevin Smith that I
yes.
feel like that's another connection back to the origins of this whole like nerdcore genre of Star Wars fan films. But that was fun having him in there. Who else was there? I'm trying to think of other cameos. We might have covered all of them now.
Oh, there
But
was there was a lot. There was, but I do love Ethan who plays Harry Knowles. He's like, and you're only as strong as your weakest link. Hello, weakest link.
yeah, exactly. Like he knows who it is. He could tell just like by the way he
He
dresses
could
and the way that
sniff
he's
it
like
out,
standing apart
man.
from his friends. But yeah, that part was great. I've talked to Knowles a couple times because he found our podcast. And he used to message me on
All
Twitter for
right,
a while, but I think
flex.
he deleted his account, I think, but I don't know if does he still run Ain't It Cool News? Is Ain't It Cool News even around anymore?
I I don't know. Please tell us
Right.
if it is or not, people. Or I mean, as soon as we're done recording, I'm gonna look it up. But if you want to
Yeah.
drop a comment, please.
Yeah, but for a while like that was like the only place to get information about like up and coming movies. And so
Yeah.
and
Well,
he
there's
was
there's
like
so much more now in like social media and everything nowadays. It's over flooded. I feel,
yeah,
but
for sure.
but yeah, that's so cool. I didn't know you knew Harry Knowles. Okay.
Well, I've never met him in person. He just had messaged me about the show and that he liked what we were doing, and I tried to coordinate having him on as a guest, but like within a few months, he I think deleted his Twitter account. But that was when like a lot of people were
Mhm.
deleting their Twitter accounts.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, I haven't been on there much in a while. So
I kind of gave up on my Twitter X, whatever the hell you want to call it, account now.
yeah,
So
so but yeah, I really enjoyed the movie, and I'm glad that you gave me an excuse to refresh my memory of it. And I think I told you
yeah,
before that it reminded me of a thing that I had written in college of like
yeah.
these two guys. It was a similar bucket list story of these guys who decided that if a T-Rex was ever cloned to adulthood, that they agreed they would break into its paddock and get eaten by it. And so a few years later, one of the guys says, "Hey, I just got this unfortunate diagnosis, but I also my mom forwarded me this article about they cloned a T-Rex in New York, and will you drive with me out there if I break in by myself? You don't have to do it. I understand you have, a life,
I'm
and
still
you
waiting for you
you
to send me the script, the screenplay of
I
it.
it's not a full script. I think it's just an outline, but but they end up driving out together, and then at the last second, instead of talking his friend out of it, they decide that they're both going to go through with it because that's just like the coolest thing that you could possibly do is get eaten by a T-Rex. So
I mean, also for any Jurassic Park nerd out there, that's like up
exactly,
their
yeah.
alley.
Yeah, you're
So
gonna want to bring like a 3D printed toilet so you can just set it down and sit on it and pretend you're the attorney getting chomped right off of the toilet.
exactly. Love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on here. Again, please check out Patrick and his podcast, Vintage Video Podcast. You know, he does amazing work on there. His deep dives are fucking insane on the movies that he does. Like, I am always I feel like this is a compliment. Like, I feel like I'm in like a very knowledgeable lecture in college every time I hear one of your podcasts. Like, you just
Well,
pour
thank you very
so much
much.
information. Like, it's in a good way though. Like, I love it. It's like it's
No, I take my
entertaining.
research very seriously, so I try to
Yeah,
like dig as much as I can because I want our podcast to cover everything you could possibly want to know about each movie we cover. So
and it's also like I said, it's entertaining too. Like, it's not just like,
we
oh,
try,
he's just
yeah,
ranting, you know.
yeah.
But so yeah, check Patrick out there. Check me out. Check us both out on our social medias. You know, Instagram, you know, TikTok, all that shit. I know I have my Discord. It's all under Mind Brain Mortality. And yeah, I mean, I'll put all the links for myself and for Patrick below. And yeah, just again, thank you for doing this deep dive journey into Star Wars and fandom and death positivity with me.
Yeah,
And yeah, this of this podcast series. This is the first time I've had a guest, so thank you for being my first guest.
absolutely.
Um,
And maybe next time we'll be talking about a useful ghost or something else.
yes, I can't wait for you to come back, and thank you for kicking my ass into gear to get back to this. So,
Well, I'm glad to have more to listen to. I hope you keep moving on it.
thanks. All right. So, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Patrick, again, and have a good
All right.
night. And let's talk Death Doula again.